A very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program, we continue to beam our searchlight on what is happening with US President Donald Trump and the pressure he's putting on Nigeria at this time. This is what we are going to be looking at on today's episode of the program, as we have some persons that will be helping us do some analysis as what this means for us in the continent and even in the country. My name is Ubong Usoro and I'm saying welcome to Big Talk. And it's been a wonderful day, right? And it's now time to talk politics. But before then, let's go for this break. When we go back, we'll get some reports and we'll also try to gather some story for you. We'll be right back. All right, so just yesterday we saw some drama at the People's Democratic Party. Let's bring you that report as we're trying to track, that political party and what is going on with the PDP for you now.
Tensions heightened today at the Wadata Plaza headquarters of the People's Democratic Party as a faction loyal to the National Secretary, Senator Sam Anyanwu, stormed the secretariat alongside Muhammad Abdurrahman, who declared himself the new chairman of the party. Until its emergence, Abdurrahman served as the vice chairman of the North Central Zone of the PDP. He was declared acting national chairman on the 3rd of November 2025 by a faction of the National Working Committee led by Senator Anyanwu. After his inauguration, Abdurrahman pledged to unite the party and restore internal democracy, promising to, in his word, heal the PDP of its wound and end factionalism.
Now we can put our head together to make sure that we bring this party to where it belongs to. We all know the slogan of our party is People's Democratic Party, and the power is to the people.
The takeover occurred amid heavy security presence around the secretariat to prevent any breakdown of law and order. Prominent PDP figures, including former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, have, however, welcomed Abdurrahman's emergence, describing it as a new beginning for the party. As at the time of this report, calm has returned to the area, though the party remains sharply divided over its leadership structure. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
We saw drama and the House of Representatives. One of my colleagues was there, and let's see this report.
What began as a routine plenary soon turned chaotic. Tension rose when lawmaker Ademoyi Kuyi sought to present a motion of urgent public importance on alleged illegal land allocations at the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex. The motion immediately drew opposition from some members who argued that it failed to meet the criteria for urgency, which typically involve loss of lives or destruction of property. The chamber descended into a rowdy scene, forcing Speaker Benjamin Kalu, who presided over plenary, to repeatedly call the House to order. Despite a heated exchange, the motion eventually passed, winning majority support. But the uproar resumed moments later as lawmakers raised fresh objections while the motion moved to its next stage. The speaker once again had to intervene to restore calm.
Mr. Speaker. Those who support the second leg of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The floor is yours.
In the adopted motion, the House expressed concern over alleged criminal allocations and distortions of the original 350-hectare master plan of the Trade Fair Complex. The sponsor of the motion claimed that portions of the federal land were being fragmented, sold, or leased illegally, threatening both businesses, stability, and national revenue. He warned that mismanagement at the complex had reached a level capable of triggering ethnic and commercial tension among traders. The House therefore mandated the Committee on Public Assets to investigate the matter, focusing on the management of the complex, alleged land racketeering, and the role of the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex Limited.
We are protected. Sit down.
But just when the chamber appeared to settle, another wave of commotion broke out after a member moved for an executive session, sparking renewed confrontation among lawmakers. The session later went behind closed doors, but the controversies over the Lagos Trade Fair land is far from over. The outcome of the investigation could determine the fate of one of Nigeria's largest commercial hubs. From the National Assembly, Annie T. Patrick reporting for Global Television News.
All right, so let's also bring to you some political stories we're able to track for you at this time. We'll take the first story for tonight. This is what U.S. President said, that if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and might very well go into that disgraced country gone a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible crimes against Nigerian Christians. Trump said this in a social media post, and we also went about to instruct his Department of War to actually prepare for a possible incursion into Nigeria. All right, so let's take other stories tonight. We have that Diri APC defection, strategic and visionary, coming from ex-Jonathan's aide. All right, so that's a story about the Bayelsa State governor, which we've seen him defect from the APC, from the PDP to the APC at this time. So Wari Pamo Owe Odarefo, a former senior special assistant on domestic matters and social events to former President Goodluck Jonathan, has described the defection of Bayelsa State Governor Senator Duro Diri to the All Progressive Congress as both strategic and visionary. Let's take another story for tonight. CPC blacklist, avoid confrontation with Trump. Bafarao tells has gone ahead to actually tell our president. The former governor of Sokoto State, Tahiru Bafarawa, has called on President Bola Tinubu to shun confrontation and embrace dialogue to resolve the growing tension with President Donald Trump of the United States of America. Let's take another story. Court clears PDP to hold national convention in Oyo. This is a good news for the PDP, although the lawyers help us with further information as to how this can actually be put into place. So what we have now is that the Oyo State High Court has granted the People's Democratic Party approval to proceed with its elective national convention scheduled for November 15, 2025 in Ibadan. Let's take another story. We actually brought the next story. We got you the visuals with the plenary session of the House of Representatives today turned rowdy as members voted against some motions of urgent public importance which bordered on the protection of lives and key government access. Let's go to Niger State now, where the All Progressive Congress, Niger State, the next story that we're taking now. Yeah, the story says the ruling All Progressive Congress has won all chairmanship seats in the elections conducted in the 25 local government areas of Niger State. I don't know if you can, that's the story on the screen at the moment. Then the last story we're taking for tonight says PDP not dead, remains Nigeria's main opposition Lagos governorship aspirant. A Lagos State governorship aspirant under the People's Democratic Party, Funsho Dorati, has maintained that the PDP remains a crucial part of Nigeria's democratic process, stressing that the presence of a viable opposition is key to sustaining democracy. All right, so those are some of the stories that we are able to track for you at this time. Tonight, we will be talking about international politics, and one of the things that President Donald Trump has actually mentioned and how this actually relates to us as a country and what we can do about this. All right, so that's the discussion that we'll be trying to have tonight on the show. what President Donald Trump is saying. He says if Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid to the country and assistance, and may very well go into the now disgraced country gone blazing and wipe out the terrorists. So joining us tonight to help us make this discussion is having a very busy day, but we just have to get 20 minutes out of his time, is Dr. Mike Udam, who is also a current affairs analyst and an educator, preacher too, from Cross River, is joining us all the way from Ogoja tonight to help make sense of this. Dr. Mike, very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Ugo. How are you and how is Abuja?
We are fine. It's good to have you on the show.
I hope the drones have not started flying.
We've not seen any drones, and hopefully we will not be seeing anyone. So, Dr. Mike, let's talk about this. International politics. President of the US is issuing threats saying Nigeria is disgrace and he may be sending in soldiers, and even the Secretary of the Department of War, as he now calls it, formerly Department of Defense, is saying, I'm ready. I saw under his tweet on Truth Social, Pate said, yes, sir, to that particular command. Let's talk about it. Do we really have a Christian genocide? You stay in that catchment area, you interact with the people. Do we have a genocide going on in Nigeria, sir?
Well, the definition of genocide has been politicized. When a particular ethnic group or a religious setting is targeted by any other group for cleansing, then genocide is in existence. When we see the Islamic fundamentalists wipe villages in Benue and Plateau, we cannot pretend that that is not genocide. And a lot of people have come on social media, of course they are entitled to their opinion, to be arguing that there had not been a genocide. Well, let me say this a little bit very clear, and I will go very straight to the point. I want to announce that with the liberalization of the social media space, every video posted can be traced and tracked, whether it is real or it is being fabricated by artificial intelligence. And therefore, before the President of the United States can come out to make a categorical statement, he must have worked on credible intelligence. And I can assure you, they know what they are saying. And so, but again, let me quickly say this, that the question you ask is if there is genocide, and the answer is yes, there is. There is. And it is in the affirmative.
All right, so it's deeply troubling because some commentators are saying that the killings that we used to have, yes, the Muslims are also killed, and people of other religions. We've seen a mosque being burnt down. That it has actually left that place of a religious war.
Let me talk, because as a professional teacher, if there is noise making in the class, it is the student that reports the noise making to the teacher, the master on duty, that comes to the class to start investigating. The people from our Muslim brothers have not reported that there is genocide on them. And the Christians have shouted, because for them it will be like a stray bullet. Because right from when you have the Christmas Day attack in Cuba or in a Suleja, till today, this country has seen an onslaught on the Christian faith. And that onslaught is calculated. It's something that we cannot play about. We need to tell ourselves the truth. And so, I was discussing with a personality today. I said, nobody, people don't need to be worried. The bullet or whatsoever is going to be sent is targeted at the code name terrorist. So I am not a terrorist, so I'm not going to be worried. The people who are supposed to be worried are those that are perpetrating. Three categories: those who are doing the act, those who are sponsoring them, and the conduit pipe through which it is being manipulated. Remember, I use the word credible intelligence.
Right. So there's this discussion about Nigeria's security architecture. and how far we've come. We've seen, and what the security people are saying is that what we now have are pockets of these issues, and it's not they're not as coordinated as they used to be some years ago.
Well, let me say this, that if Nigeria is ready to face Boko Haram, Nigeria has all the capacity, the intellectual acumen, the basic intelligence of DSS, NIA, to track, even the defense intelligence, to track Boko Haram and bring them to their knees. Something is wrong somewhere. And that is why Donald Trump is raising his voice. Because it's like you are not able to pay your children's school fee in your house. And an uncle stays somewhere and decided to scold you and is prepared to go to the school and pay the school fees. And you are getting angry with him. You see, you don't go to pay the school fees. You pay the school fees, then if you pay the fees, then there will be no need. Your children will not complain again. It's a very simple analysis. Let me tell you, it is a theory in psychology called group theory. People want to group all the things into an invasion. This is not American invasion of Nigerian airspace. It's American invasion of targeting terrorists. I read an analyst who said, there's no way America has gone through, they have always succeeded, they leave the people wounded. Yes, we have a right to appeal to America to stay away. But let's do the right thing. And I want to tell you that if Nigerian soldiers, Nigerian army and others are ready, Boko Haram will be a thing of the past. Something is missing somewhere, let it be noted.
Right. So let's talk about our sovereignty, because that has been one of the arguments that people have anchored on. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. We are ruled by laws and we have our own. Yes. So is this not an invasion of our privacy and our sovereignty as a nation?
Yes, I agree with you, but let me ask fundamental question. When Pakistan, with their sovereignty, America entered and picked out Osama bin Laden. Nigeria, with their sovereignty, when a reverend clergyman in Niger Republic was abducted by Boko Haram and taken to a particular part of Nigeria, America entered and took him alive and killed all the terrorists. Even Nigeria has sovereignty. The truth is that for me as a person that we are interviewing today,
right,
I will advise Donald Trump to hold on. Give Nigeria 3 more months. And I think that from the way I am seeing the country waking up, we'll be able to pick out all those guys and put everywhere peaceful. They will not be needed.
All right.
And to deny that they have not been killing of Christians is we are not telling the truth.
The statements that a lot of people are saying is that it's been killing of Nigerians, and because if we say killing of Christians, it may bring more division in a very polarized country.
They had already existed division. We are only pretending. If you go to Twitter and now call X, you will see division. There is a division already existing between the Igbos versus the Yorubas, the South versus the North, the Christians versus the Muslims. These are existed since 1914. It's not a new thing. It's not this statement that is coming to divide it. The fundamental speech of Donald Trump is simple. You, Nigeria, you are not dealing with these terrorists well. We want to come and take out these terrorists for the sake that they are persecuting Christians. If the Muslim population think that they are also being persecuted, or those who are in traditional religion think so, they should find their protest. By the way, have you heard anybody from the Muslim extraction, the Islam extraction, openly condemning Boko Haram? Please, if you have seen, you can refresh my memory. I am open to correction.
Well, we have quite a lot of them. We've had even Muslim clerics who have condemned terrorism and Islamic extremism. But Doctor, I'd like to stay with you. Let's talk about Africa as a continent for a while. It seems we always look for support and we can't solve basic issues. After a long time of being handed freedom, as in quotes, why is it that Africa, because this rarely happens with European countries, but with Africa, there seems to always be a time when they will be in need of support, when they will be in need of some help. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I think can you rephrase the
Yeah, I said, why is Africa where it is now, where it seems we are always looking for help and somebody to school us and to lead us where to buy weapons? What is happening? Why is our continent this way?
Africa is a very great continent. We are unfortunate to have leaders that are not understanding what it means to transfer technology. A leader travels to the UK, sees the streets of London, sees the beautiful university. It is people like him that built it. He comes back home, sends his children there to go to school, and if the money meant for education and use it to build a house there. That is the trend in Africa. That's the trend. So it is self-inflicted. I had argued with a friend. I was in South Africa a few years ago, and I argued with a friend. We had a debate about the issue of Nigeria and South Africa, which is the giant of Africa. We had a very extensive debate, and I discovered that Nigeria, according to the friend, he reminded me that he said Nigeria, for example, we do almost everything on our own. We pay for security, we repair our streets, we pay for electricity, that we sink our boreholes. If you go to Abuja right now, in fact, if you carry out a geophysical analysis of Abuja, almost every company in Abuja has a borehole. And I have not yet done the environmental impact assessment of each company having a borehole, the catastrophic effect it will have on our environment in the next 100 years. That is because that is showing you that we have lost trust in the government. We have our private cars. How many people have private cars in overseas? It is those who are very rich that have private cars. Ordinary housing we cannot address. So it is self-inflicted. And the fundamental issue of associated with self-inflictment is greed. We take more than what we even need as a people or as a person. If you hear our corruption cases, the total money that has been taken by corrupt people, if put together, can transform Nigeria to one of the best places in the world to stay. So our problem is not intellectual capacity. Our problem is greed, mismanagement of resources, and lack of focused leadership. Then we go to enjoy what others have done in their country and are comfortable with men like us did it. That is my pain. And that is the pain of Africa.
All right, so this security issue in Nigeria, right? Is there a way? You've talked about the fact that if our troops are ready, if we are ready, but we've seen this go through one president to the other. We had late President Muhammadu Buhari came in as a general, and there was so much hope and expectation. We saw Goodluck Jonathan before he even lost power. The insecurity was, becoming much. Is it because they've talked about the fact that no country has defeated terrorism in 10 years. We've seen the case of Afghanistan, the Taliban still came back. Even in Colombia, there had to be some negotiations at the end of the day. So are you seeing, instead of just kinetic methods, maybe a psychological approach can be brought in, since this is more like an ideological war?
Well, I think I like your analysis. I want to tell you that these statements have been in the media for the past 10-15 years. What approach? There was even a time when the president offered a carrot and stick approach, where they have to surrender and they could be enlisted back and taken. Are you aware that even led to the infiltration of the Nigerian military? And some military discussions that cannot be discussed on public television. I want to say this, and I want you to take note, that if Nigeria is ready to cage Boko Haram, Nigeria will cage Boko Haram. Mark it down. Those who know military intelligence know the same. This phone call, this television interview can be tracked to a exact location where I'm sitting. And if that is possible, why can't the kidnappers be trapped? Why can't the terrorists be trapped? We know. And of course, there are drones, there is technology. So I want to encourage the Nigerian government. I want to speak to the president. Mr. President, sir, call your men to order and have a security council meeting and direct them. They should deploy technology. This thing is new. The world is driven by technology. When they deploy technology, they will be able to track where those people are located and eliminate them.
Right.
Even America that is planning to come using technology. The number of troops you may see in Nigeria may not be up to 100. They know what happened to them in Mogadishu when they underrated Sudan during the Sudan crisis. They know what happened in Mogadishu, and they won't want to try that again. That was why when they go to Afghanistan, when they go to Pakistan, they had a clinical village in picking Osama bin Laden. America military have evolved. We are not talking about the war between Nigeria and America. People should decide. That is not what we are saying. What we are saying is that when the target is specific, terrorists, is how they will identify terrorists is what I do not know. That is meant for their military analysis and their military architecture. But I want to assure you that if Nigeria organizes themselves, there are local, in fact, someone wrote an article yesterday calling for state police. That if there is the implementation of the policy of state police, that there are people that are from their state who want their state to be protected. But if you are running a national police, and if you see a man from Cross River who is in Sambisa local government to guide them, he will be a little bit careful because of his family at home. So that he will not put his feet and die.
Right.
So there are a lot of things that are there. But my appeal is that Nigeria can handle it. We do not need America to come in.
Right.
But let's take what Donald Trump has said as a warning.
Right, Doctor, before I let you go,
I'll come and pay for you.
All right, I just have two questions before I let you go. Number one, I'd like to ask, is it diplomatic, Donald Trump's exchange of words, using words like the now disgraced country, and saying the truth will come in, gun are blazing, and talking about leadership? Those words, wouldn't it have been passed through the diplomatic channels, letters that would have been written maybe from the U.S. ambassador in Nigeria to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, since we don't have ambassadors yet, and all of that, more diplomatically?
Well, Donald Trump has been known to be a man that hits the nail at the head and doesn't mind whose ox is called. He is privileged to be the president of the United States of America. A very powerful president at that. Well, we are coming from Nigeria. We are a powerful country in Africa. And sometimes when somebody speaks rudely at you, you leave the rudeness and analyze the content of what he has said. And if actually reflects you. Because if you have organized yourself well, nobody will look at you and speak rudely at you. You know, sometimes Olarokim is saying, you bring an infested maggot in his house, he will not be angry when lizard pay him a visit. So sometimes we have created an enabling environment for us to be rebuked and for us to be scolded and words like that used. It's rather unfortunate. However, Nigeria should do the diplomatic route. Donald Trump, please, we understand what you are saying. Thank you for thinking for us and reminding us of what we already know. We understand there's a problem like that. However, give us some time. We are working on it. Please calm down. We are working on it. Nigeria know the way to back. Not to be carry an affront. You cannot come here. America will not take permission from you when they are coming. If they want to hit Iran, they will hit Iran. They want to hit Iran, they will hit Iran. If they want to hit Saudi Arabia, they will hit. They know how to do it.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike Udam. He's a current affairs analyst, and one of these days we hope to have you. We'll spend longer time and also I learn from you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike, for coming on the program tonight.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, guys. So we've been speaking to Mike Udam, who is a political affairs analyst and also a community mobilizer who travels around Nigeria to actually carry out his work. As we access Donald Trump's comment about Nigeria, and some of the things Donald Trump, president of the U.S., said, and how it actually meets us as Nigerians, and what we think about it. Let's actually pull out that statement from Donald Trump once more now, as we try to get you abreast with what the president of the U.S. said and what it matters. He said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aids and assistance and may very well go into the now disgraced country, gun a-blazing, to completely wipe out all Islamic terrorists that are committing these horrible crimes. That was what the president of the U.S., Donald J. Trump, posted, and that is what is actually drawing a lot of criticism and drawing a lot of reactions from various factors and various sections in the world now. Some commentators are saying, why would he say what he's saying, and how does he really have the ability to actually, come into Nigeria and say all of these things, saying they will now come into the now disgraced country. Is Nigeria a disgraced country? Those are some of the discussions I would like to have. But let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll be talking to our next guest as we keep highlighting this issue. Don't go nowhere. This is Big Talk, and my name is Ubong Usoro. Welcome back. This is still Big Talk. My name is Ubong Usoro, your host. And tonight on the program, we are exclusively looking at U.S. statement, Donald Trump's statement about Nigeria and what it means for us as a country. We just finished talking to Dr. Mike, who actually gave us his perspective on the issue. Now let's turn focus to a journalist and also a political affairs analyst, talking about Jimmy, who is joining us all the way from Calabar at the time. A very good evening to you, Jimmy Jackson. I'm trying to get Jimmy. Just a minute, we'll be able to get that settled. Jimmy, can you hear me now? We need to get that call connected once more. As we try to get that done. All right, so we're trying to get Jimmy on the line so we could continue with the conversation about as we access Trump's comment. Hello, Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yes.
A very good evening to you. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so are we accessing Donald Trump's comment about Nigeria? Let's look at the international connotation and the international fallout from this particular comment. What does Nigeria stand to gain or to lose in the Committee of Nations? This is a country that prides itself as the giant of Africa, being called a disgraced country by U.S. presidents. Is it good for our public image? Walk us through the international diplomacy route of this particular discussion we're having at this time. What are the gains and losses, to Nigeria at this time?
Thank you, Bonzo. It's a pleasure to be here. For me, it's really, really pathetic that we are actually experiencing this in Nigeria, where Nigeria as a sovereign state is being threatened by another sovereign state to a point of threatening to invade, go to war with the country, which for me clearly shows that we have a long way to go. And also it's a clarion call for our leaders to understand that they cannot just lead by lip services, but they should lead by showing through leadership for the citizen of Nigeria. It's quite pathetic that it's happening, but again, it's something that was premeditated on, because if you look at what has happened in the country the last 1 or 2 decades, clearly shows that it might likely be what the U.S. president is actually saying. But is it true? Is it factual? That's where it becomes more complex. Looking at first, one, what are the true indices of what's happening in the country? The reports we're getting from the media. What is the government doing? How is the government responding to the insecurity that is actually taking place in Nigeria? So these are factors that, has fueled these statements and actually threat from the US president. And again, we're looking at how the government and our leaders are actually reacting. Everybody's now coming out to say stuff, but the truth is, Nigerian governments need to sit up to ensure that lives and properties of its citizens are truly in safe hands from our security agencies.
All right. So, but I want us to. What do you think this? How do you think this is going to affect Nigeria in the Committee of Nations? How will it affect our pride, our ego, our ability to be able to comment and be called the giant of Africa? That in the 90s we went into Liberia, went with Sierra Leone, with ECOMOG, we went to South Africa, and we did all of these interventions. And of course, we are the biggest black nation in the world. So, how does this comment, affect us? Affect the face value of Nigeria in the international community at the time?
Yes, so this clearly, from when the US president, mentioned about the genocide, because using that word, till date, till now, there's been a lot of tension, and definitely it's not actually going to work well for Nigeria as a nation. One of the most black popular country, the giant of Africa, priding itself, it's actually not going to work well for us, because definitely we stand to lose a lot. People would die, innocent people, things would go south. And, looking at historical facts, which of the countries can we see the United States have actually entered and left the same way? So we cannot afford to allow such happen. But again, the Nigerian government and our leaders, let's start with the current president and the APC-led government. What have they been able to achieve in the last 2 years of them, being in power? In terms of security, we're still hearing pockets of killings, here and there. So it's going to affect us badly. Already we heard that they're trying to set up a base in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The question is it Rivers State that we're experiencing the genocide or not? So it's not going to be a nice development.
I don't know. When we also use words like genocide, is it really a genocide going on? Yes, there could be politically motivated killings at some point, but is it the totality of the outlook of the insecurity issues that we have in the places that have been mentioned?
Well, I said earlier that it's actually a complex situation. But again, let's take our mind back, or let's actually go back memory lane to look at the killings that has been taking place in Nigeria. It might likely be that, but for me, I think it's misinformation that has actually caused or political motivated, But again, whatever we want to see and however we want to look at it, I think we have ourselves to blame because it is only in Nigeria that we are recording deaths. You wake up every morning, you're hearing that 30 people, 40 people have been killed, and no arrests have been made. Nothing has been done by the government. How can we, or how do we want to call those particular killings? So it's neither here nor there. But for me, I think the Nigerian government and security agencies need to wake up to ensure that they protect lives and properties of Nigerians and actually ensure that every life in Nigeria is valued. Because it seems like, from what is happening, it seems like we don't value any Nigerian life. You can just wake up and hear, somebody has been killed, and nothing has been done, no investigation, no arrest has been made, no follow-up. So it becomes a recurring testimony. So it's safe to say, people can actually, who are not here, can tag that as a genocide. Is it factual? The answer is left for the security agencies to answer.
All right, so there are discussions around the fact that it seems that in Nigeria at this time, what we are having is that it is politically motivated because our opposition leaders may be the ones trying to push the narrative to maybe force a regime change and all of that. Do you see this as a politically motivated, discussion at the moment?
Yes, it's likely a political motivated discussion, looking at what is going on. It's not something that is new. It didn't start today. Remember in 2015 when we had the change in government? Definitely. So it has been a political statement that even the US president, commenting, mentioning Nigeria, is also politically motivated. So how our leaders will handle this is actually a different ballgame entirely. We have seen some governors, we have seen some of our political office elected holders trying to make statements, counter-claim of what the US president is saying. So it could be to some extent, but clearly, I think it's also the failure of leaders to actually lead and actually know that whatever decisions and actions they take while in office also trickle down to the citizens, and the perception felt by outsiders is actually not a good one.
All right, so you talk about the perception felt by outsiders, and that it is not a good one. All right, so we'll look at the US, for instance. What gives them the right to call other countries to order and people say act like a police over other countries? Is it really fair where every country is supposed to be sovereign and handle its own affairs? Is this not neo-colonialism? And maybe the second leg of the question will be, what is in this for the US? Is it poor charity, I want to come help Christian, or is there something they are looking for at the moment?
Well, definitely, you look at the US, they are priding themselves as world power. And for me, I think it's something that we should actually have a critical look at. First off, let's look at Nigeria and countries surrounding Nigeria. We have actually seen and witnessed what's actually happening. I think it's also a political motivated, situation, considering the fact that countries surrounding Nigeria have military takeovers and backed by a country that is not, in support with the United States, talking about Russia. So there's more politics to this statement as what's happening than what we can actually see, because again, we're looking at what is the benefit of a United States, the economic factor, and what does the United States seeks to gain. Let's not forget that statement said all aids given to the country will be cut off. What type of aids are we receiving? And this aids comes when there is trouble. You're looking at IDPs displaced. You're looking at some of those things. So these are some of the issues. And the question is, before now, Nigeria has tried to purchase, some military equipment from the United States. What happened? Who played the politics that some of these equipment were not sold to Nigeria, and they want souls? They needed approval for it to be used. So there's more to this than just what we're seeing. But again, it's also failure of the APC-led government. 2 years down the line, we don't have an ambassador. We don't have diplomatic relations anywhere. And the question is, do we have leaders who care about the citizens? Because I didn't mean we had an ambassador to the United States. I think those should have been a diplomatic issue. Already we are hearing that, the presidency is trying to get to the US to meet with the president. This should have been handled by, the ambassadors to this country. So I think for me, it's a whole lot. And that clearly shows that leadership is not just by lip services, but proactive.
Right.
Proactive measures is needed to ensure that, leadership is achieved at all strata.
Right, so as we try to wind down this conversation now, there have been discussions about the fact that the president should look for a way to have talks and maybe go through the diplomatic route to engage U.S. President Donald Trump and speak to him with facts and see how this can be cuddled off diplomatically. Do you think that's the right route to go and not, call vengeance and want to go head to head, doing very well that in terms of economic capabilities, in terms of military hardware, in terms of a lot of things, we do not have, the leverage at this time to head to head with the U.S. in a confrontation?
Yes, true. True that there should be a diplomatic way of handling this. But again, there is no smoke without fire. The thing is, looking at this situation right now, I think, there is literally a lot that is going to happen, and how our leaders, especially the president, goes about it is very critical. Let's not forget, the last 2 years of the U.S. Of the Nigerian presidency, led by President Tinubu, clearly the presidents actually avoided the United States. The last time he was billed to be there, I think it was the vice president.
Yeah, but the vice president has been there, Jimmy, a couple of times. He's attended the UN, United Nations General Assembly,
himself,
UNGA, yeah.
The president himself has avoided the United States. So,
is it avoidance or is it that his hands have been, because the president has also traveled a lot, right? He's been to France quite a couple of times.
Well, we have not had on record that he has been to the US as a president, as a sitting president. So if these would force the president to visit the US, have diplomatic talk, try to see how, this situation can be salvaged. Well, for me, it's also wrong that the US is threatening to invade Nigeria as a sovereign nation. But again, it's a clear call that you must not sit at the fence. Right. Waiting for people to detect and, direct who you want to do.
Right. But Jimmy, as we end this conversation tonight, in all of this, we've not seen a strong support base from Africa. We've not seen Ghana. We've not seen other countries come out to say Nigeria will support you. What is happening to African unity that we talk about a lot of times?
I think clearly shows that Africa, we are not united. It's only in Africa. You look at Europe. If you're actually from Europe, you can actually go to different European countries. We're using your passport. In Africa, you have to apply the bureaucracy, bottleneck. A lot of things is going on. So Africa is not united. And looking at the recent happenings, military trying to take over from democratic based on the sit-tight syndrome. So it's a whole lot. So I think Africa is actually watching Nigeria. Hopefully, Nigeria will be able to do the
Thank you so much.
and play their place as a big brother to other African nations.
Big brother, as it used to claim. Thank you so much, Jimmy Jackson, journalist and political analyst, for joining us on the show tonight. We really do appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonso. It's a pleasure.
All right, people, and that's a size for you tonight. Remember, like when I say every day on the show, that we must love Nigeria, we must sacrifice for this country, and we must do our best to contribute meaningfully to the progress, peace, and prosperity of the nation. I'm going to be leaving, but I'll be leaving as I bring to you one more time the recent happening at the People's Democratic Party's Secretariat, and that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow on the program. What is happening with the PDP? Let's get to see this particular video that I got for you.
Tensions heightened today at the Wadata Plaza headquarters of the People's Democratic Party as a faction loyal to the National Secretary, Senator Sam Anyanwu, stormed the Secretariat alongside